Buffalo and Sparrow Yoga Collective. My name is Rachel Stroud. This is my happy place, my home studio. This will be a short practice to address low back tension, low back stress, low back pain. Hopefully we can relieve some of that. So we're going to start in a constructive rest pose. So I will say it might be helpful for you to have a block or something like that for this practice, but it's not going to be necessary, not required. And if you don't have a block, you can use like a couple throw pillows or even like a really big book with a blanket over it. Like if you're my age and you remember dictionaries. Like that. Okay, so we'll start with your feet out wide and your knees knocking together. And what this does is it starts to open up your low back because we've internally rotated your legs, which is going to cause the back of your pelvis to excuse me, open up just a bit. So root down through your sit bones and maybe even tuck your shoulders under just a bit. And I might suggest palms face up for reception, or you could do palms face down for a little more grounding. And notice your breath and see if you can't bring it right into your belly so that we get this diaphragmatic breath, full oxygenation of your body, your brain. But we also get that big belly breath, which will hopefully help expand the opposite side of your body, which would be your low back, which is our focus today. Excuse me. I have this ever eternal lingering cough from like a month ago, so it will sometimes show up. I apologize. So breathe in right there into your belly space, nice and slow as you ground into the present moment. You allow everything up until now fall away, and everything that's up ahead stay up ahead so that you can be here fully as you've carved out a little bit of time for yourself to take care of yourself. And part of being present is noticing your sensations, connecting with your breath, feeling your body. So do all of those things, and we'll take just about 5 more breaths here in stillness together. Good. Now heel toe your feet in the distance of your hips and bring your knees right above your hips. So in that same line-ish, you got about 90-degree bend in your knees, and it might be helpful to place your palms to the ground so you have a little traction, flex through your feet. Work to connect your low back to the earth by using the engagement in your abdominals. And as we're here working the stability of your low back first, I'll just use this time to remind you to take care of yourself in this practice, that you can do what feels best for you, and that might be moving with me, it might be moving at a different pace, it might be choosing different shapes altogether. It's definitely your time to take care of yourself uniquely, as you're the only one that knows what's going on in your body. So just move as your body is asking you to. There's that cough again. Place your palms to your thighs and gently press palms and thighs into one another. And that's going to increase that engagement in your low belly core. So much of back pain can be supported by a strong core. And I had a slipped disc a couple of years ago, and my chiropractor and PT Really worked on my core strength to strengthen all the muscles that would support my lumbar spine to keep me strong and aligned. Now take your hands behind your thighs and press the back of your thighs and your hands into one another. And so you might even invite a little rounding in your low back. So your posterior tilting your pelvis. And then make sure you're not holding tension in your shoulders. Good. And then knock your knees and your ankles together. Take your arms out either at a low V or a T so you have that firm connection to the ground. And we're going to slowly bring your legs over to the left, maybe about 30 degrees, and then hold there. So we're getting into your obliques and deep into your core here. And we're going to rock back to our sacrum and tailbone to go over to the other side about 30 degrees. Hold here as you continue to breathe. Your breath is your power. Your breath is a conduit to most everything that you want to be healed in your body and your mind, even in your emotional landscape. Come all the way back to your spine, and then very slowly and mindfully using our core strength, we're going to let your legs fall all the way over to the left. So we're in a twist. Now in my body, in order to keep my knees flush, I need to bring my hips back to center a little more in the middle of my mat. So see if that helps you keep your knees together. And this is not a requirement. It's just that your knees together is gonna pull your right hip further forward, which will increase that twist in your low back. So you can just decide what's best for you. You can also place your pillow, your blanket, or your block in between your knees and squeeze into that, and that's going to help keep your knees together, but also strengthen a little more. So that's an option too. Then take your gaze over your right shoulder so we get a little twist in your cervical spine as well. And then I read something the other day that if you turn your head to one side for at least 4 slow breaths, then you activate your vagus nerve. So let's for sure do that. We want to activate our vagus nerve here. That is our sense of just being fully alive and aware and in our happy place. That social engagement, that really nice, calm place. And this last couple of breaths, you might consider taking your right hand to your hip and then just pushing your hip down, creating a little more space. You can even go to your hip crease if that feels better to you as you press down on the top of your thigh. And then return your hand back to the ground. Again, we'll engage into your low belly to roll through center. And this time we'll move the hips first. So just inch your hips over to the left side of your mat a little bit more, and then bring your legs into that 90-degree bend and start to slowly bring them all the way over to the right side of your mat and try to hug your left knee so it's flush with your right. And notice what this side feels like. This side for sure for me is tighter. It's a little more demanding on my body. And so that's information to keep about your body, about your daily habits, and then also to know that when you're doing your yoga practice or any sort of exercise, that both sides of the body might need different care. So you might not go to certain depths on one side like you would on the other. Take your gaze over your left shoulder if you haven't already, and we'll take those mindful breaths here, at least 4 slow breaths so we get into your vagus nerve again. And then with these last couple breaths, that left hand can come either to the top of your hip point or to your hip crease, top of your thigh, as you press it down, finding a little more space, a little more stacking of your hips. Release your palm back towards the floor. Core strength pulls you all the way back to center. And then we'll separate those feet hips distance apart. Hands now can come down to your sides. Press into your feet to lift your hips into bridge pose. And start to curl your shoulders under so your shoulder blades get a little bit closer towards one another. Keep the back of your head rooted and press down through the inner edges of your feet. Some of you might intertwine your fingers at the small of your back, or rather underneath the small of your back. Pinky side edges of your hands will press into the mat so that you can lift your hips a little higher. And this is a really great pose to anchor your tailbone back into alignment with the rest of your spine, really aligning your low back as well. And it's also going to stabilize your hips, amongst many other benefits of this shape. And then release your hands. Let your hips come all the way down towards the earth. This time, when your hips lift, we're going to reach your arms overhead, getting into your shoulders as well. As you exhale, hips lower, hands come back down towards your sides. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Twice more, breathe in. Breathe away. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Roll to one side so you can press yourself up, but we're just going to continue our rotation until we're in kneeling plank. So your knees come a little farther behind you, shoulders over wrist, bend into your elbows, come all the way down to your belly. Roll your shoulders, lift your heart, cobra pose. So now we're finding some extension in your spine. So draw your shoulders away from your ears and keep the back of your neck long so your gaze is down at your mat. And think about rooting your sit bones down and firming into your low belly once more. And that connection of the engagement of your low belly is going to help stabilize the compression that's happening in your low back. So it will actually help mitigate that. Good. And then let your forehead rest on your forearms for a moment. Point both of your toes, and my head might be lifted just so you can hear me a little bit better, so I'm not like in a cave like sound. But you can keep your forehead on your forearms. Reach your left leg up. The entirety of your left leg is going to come up as you squeeze into your left butt cheek. And this is also really good to help with sciatica that is often associated with some low back pain. And this pose can help with that. Lower that left leg down and release the muscles in your left glutes. And now point your right toes, lift the entirety of your right leg off of the mat. And so you squeeze into that right butt cheek, and then we'll lower the right leg down. And you can do what we just did again. Otherwise, we'll lift your right leg and then scissor switch, hovering into your right, left and right. So you can tap the earth or you can keep it at a hover, but you're really anchoring your pelvis down into the ground as you engage into your hips and your legs. It's a slow pedaling of your legs. We'll do this for just a couple more rounds. 3, 2, I realize a couple is 2 and I counted down from 3, 1. Let your legs come all the way down and really release into your glutes. Take a big belly breath, big enough that your back body starts to expand. And release. Place your palms to your upper outer ribs. Press into your kneeling plank. Lift your knees, high plank, hips back and up, downward facing dog. And try to find length in your spine here as you reach your heart towards your thighs. Lift your sit bones. Good. Reach your right leg all the way up and back for three-legged dog. As you exhale, step it through to the front of your space into low lunge. Squish your toes, as in your left ones, all the way to the back of your mat so we get length in your quadricep and your hip flexor. Mindfully lower your left knee all the way down to the mat. So we can stay here with our hands supporting us in this pose, and we might start there. Well, we are starting there, aren't we? Release all the muscles, as much as your body allows, around your hips. Think about your left hip flexor finding a little more softness. Good. And then with that, start to kick your back heel up and gently start to lower it. We'll do that a few more times, just getting that stretching, strengthening movement into that left leg. And the next time you kick it up, you could consider sweeping your right arm all the way up and back and grasping or reaching for that foot. This is a big stretch for your hip flexor. So of course you can backpedal, go to a different version or iteration of this shape. And we'll start by pulling your foot in so we get even more length in your hip flexor and quadricep. Then start to kick your foot into your hand so that it pulls your arm bone back and we get an opening in your shoulder. Release your foot, swim your arm all the way back to frame your foot. Lift this left knee off of the mat and step it forward. Spin your back heel down so we're like in a pyramid shape. I like to use a block in this shape. So if you have one, bring it close. You can also use your sealed water bottle just to bring the ground closer to you, whatever you have. Hands come to your block or whatever prop you're using. Start to anchor your right hip back. And this one for me gets deep into my low back. So just notice where you feel it as you anchor your right hip back. And then we're going to move forward because twists are always really good to release your spine. But if that feels like too much, stay right here, or even you can fold over into your pyramid shape. So our twist is going to keep the left hand on your prop, and your right hand is going to come first to your right hip crease, and we'll start to just pull that right hip crease back and down, and that's going to level and square our pelvis a little more. Good. Then start to turn your heart to the right as you open up. Reach your arm back behind you and then all the way up towards the sky. All the while we're still hugging that right hip crease back so that we can get access into your lumbar spine. And see within all this effort if you can find some softness in your breath, in your face muscles. And then come all the way back to your pyramid shape. Both hands come to your prop. And from here, either stay right as you are or offer more engagement by lifting your sit bones. It's an anterior tilt in your pelvis this time. It's like you're pouring your pelvis forward so that your hip points will actually lower as your sit bones come up back behind you. Hold this for 3, 2, and 1. Bring a gentle bend all the way back into your leg. Step your right leg back and notice the difference on the sides of your body. If the awareness allows for that. Reach your left leg all the way up and back. Breathe in. Exhale, step it all the way through to the front of your space. We'll squish those right toes back to the back of your mat and gently lower that right knee down. Once you're there, with your hands supporting you, start to soften into the muscles around your hips. So you're releasing the in and up action in your hips. Instead of hugging in and up or gripping, there's a soft release. Good. And then we'll start to take those kicks in the right leg. So we feel everything on this side. So as part of staying present is feeling. What is it that you feel? It doesn't have to just be in your body, right? We can recognize our emotional landscape, our mental landscape, our spiritual landscape, and our physical landscape. The next time your heel kicks up, option here to take your left hand for a reach and twist, or perhaps you make the connection. Again, we'll start by pulling your heel in so we amplify that sensation in your hip flexor. So just a quick note about your lumbar spine. When you work into your psoas muscle, which is also known as your hip flexor, you are actually lengthening the muscles in your lumbar spine because, and now kick your foot away. So pressing your foot into your hand so it pulls your arm bone farther back so we get that opening in your shoulder. Your psoas muscle attaches to the top of your thigh. It goes deep into your pelvis, to your back body, and then attaches to your lumbar spine. So the more you can lengthen that, the more freedom you'll have in your low back. Release your foot, swim your arm all the way back. Lift your back knee, step it forward, spin your heel down. It's pyramid shape. Take your prop and place your hands on it. Draw your left hip back and stay here for a moment. You can also fold here if you'd like. So when the psoas muscle is tight, it will start to compress your spinal column in your lumbar spine. When you find that length in the psoas, it frees up your vertebrae so that you can find a little more relief in that compression. So if you want to take the twist on this side, right hand stays to your block, left hand comes to your hip crease, and you're going to anchor it back and down. Your pelvis now gets a little more square to the front of the mat. And just notice if that's a good adjustment for you or not. You're not locking out that front leg. There's either a gentle bend or you engage your kneecap up into your thigh, that muscular engagement. Now turn your body to the left. So we open up through your heart. Reach your hand back behind you first and then all the way up towards the sky. And we're still pulling your left hip back and down. Good, and then carefully start to unwind. Take a beat here in pyramid as you release into your fold. Good, remove your prop, step back into downward facing dog. And then from down dog, we'll take a moment to be aware first. Now that we've done both sides of the body, just notice. And one hand print at a time, walk your feet all the way to the back of your space. Now I'm going to turn towards you, but you stay where you're at just so that you can see if you need to. Your feet can be hips distance or even just a little bit wider can be helpful in this next shape. Take a hold of either elbow so we're like in a ragdoll shape. First, notice what this feels like, right? You've got your upper body draping over your lower body, and then the weight of your upper body is pulling length into your spine. So just notice how you feel here. Now we're going to bring a generous bend into your left leg and start to pull your upper body to the outside of your left leg. You can bend into the right leg too if that's helpful. My leg wants to shake. It's super tight right now. So your upper body is pouring now over the left side of your foot. This is your leg. And then we're going to still pull back on your right hip. So energetically pull back on your right hip, but your upper body's draping over the left side. Good. Come back to center. Bend into your right leg a lot and swing your upper body to the outside seam of your right leg. And all the while, we're still pulling back on your left hip crease. Come through center. One more time over to the left.
Right hip crease pulls back. This time, pull down on your right arm. So we get into your side body, ribs. You might even feel your erector spinae muscles. There's just some stuff happening in your low back. And then other side. So again, the addition here on this side is to pull down on your left arm, left elbow to get into that opening. Yeah, come all the way back to center. Inhale, halfway lift. Lift your chin just to get the blood back into your head. Big breath in, and then as you exhale, Malasana squat. Good. Let your hands come to your heart. Root down through your root chakra, but lift up from your solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown. You might widen your elbows into your knees as you lift taller in your spine. You're going to let your hands come back behind you, and we will start to wrap up this practice by coming on to your spine all the way down. Take your right knee over your left. So we're coming into supine Gomukhasana, reclined cow face pose. So some of you will just hug into your knees and feel that opening in your hips or wherever else. And if the compression of cross-legged is too much, you can take figure four instead. That's perfectly fine. But this one, Gomukhasana, will get into some intense outer hip stuff. So when you're ready, flex your feet, lift your heels, handlebar onto with your hands onto your shins, or maybe some of you will meet your ankles, or even some of you have access to the outer edges of your feet. So do what feels best. I like handlebarring onto the top of my shins, and then just pull your heels up so you do have that 90-degree bend or more obtuse. If you want to bring geometry in it, so it can be 90 or 100, like opening up a little more. Then to feel more, pull down on those handlebars. Whoo, daddy. I feel that. Try to anchor your low back and your sit bones to the ground. So instead of like hugging up like this, we're anchoring the low spine. The low spine? I guess that kind of works. To the earth. And you can also rock from side to side here if you'd like. Then release back into your cross-legged. Push into your left foot to sweep your hips to the right just a bit and let your knees fall over to the left. Cactus out through your arms, gaze over your right shoulder. Big twist here, anchor into your right shoulder and take 3, well, let's just stay with the 4 breaths so we get that vagus nerve activation. Come all the way back to center. Hips anchor at center. Uncross your legs. Left leg on top of right. Decide what's best for you. Stay with just the hug, or you might switch it to a figure 4 like so. Otherwise, we will lift your heels until they come 90 degrees or past. Flex through your feet. Take a hold of whatever is accessible as you handlebar onto your legs or feet. And now, keeping that 90 or more angle in your legs, pull down towards the ground. Press down into the mat with your tailbone. And maybe rock from side to side. Can get into more sensation that way. Lovely. And now let's release that. We're just in the cross-legged now. Your right foot meets the ground so that you can shift your hips to the left a few inches and let your knees fall over to the right. Now, cactus and look over your left shoulder. We'll take those 4 breaths. Those audible exhales, or these like almost like moaning sounds, like is really good for your nervous system as well. It finds a nice release with that. It also tones your vagus nerve. These, these low vibrational sounds in your vocal cords work to tone your well, vagal tone. It works to tone your vagus nerve. Lovely. Let's come all the way back to center. And then however you'd like, we're just going to take a short Shavasana, but this is your practice, right? You can take it as long Shavasana as you want. So I'm just going to come to the place we started at, knees together, feet out wide. This time I'm going to place hands on heart and belly. You do what feels best as you sit here and breathe. Just let your practice integrate into your body. Be still and allow everything to settle in as you receive the benefits, body, mind, and soul. And I will close us out in just about 2 minutes. And come back to your breath as you bring awareness back to your body. And keep those nourishing breaths in and out, and move into your wrists. Lift your feet off the floor as you move into your ankles. Give yourself a hug. Squeeze in and roll over to your side as you take a brief moment to connect with gratitude. What is it you're grateful for in this moment? And then gently press yourself all the way up to a seat. You might place your palms to your heart or together, whichever feels best for you. And keep that soft gaze, or maybe your eyelids close all the way down. As you feel your heartbeat, take a moment to resonate with gratitude, with everything that's led into the moment that you're in, that's allowing you to show up as the person you are. Thank you so much for practicing, taking care of yourself, carving out time to be present and aware, and hopefully to find relief in your low back and other places as well. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you so much for practicing, and I would
encourage you to let me know how this felt in your body and how your low back feels in the comments. And if you enjoyed it, please like it. And there are many other practices of various types and meditations for you to tap into. So subscribe to the channel so you get the most updated videos. Thank you so much for joining. Bye.